Hello, I'm Mantastic'c and Fantastic, and today I want to talk about the Super Godfest that has just gone live in North America. So, Super Godfest will cost you 10 magic stones, and I feel like nowadays, the very worst it can possibly be is around like maybe 35-ish%. There was a period of time where we saw 33s, but I feel like over time it's slowly been power crept upwards, which is obviously a good thing for us players, but at the same time, this current Super Godfest is only 36.5% chance to get any Godfest exclusive, and that is definitely towards the very lowest end possible as the last couple of years. And this makes me not motivated to want to roll in this event because, well, the odds are just not in my favor. In fact, the previous seasonal Super Godfest that featured various seasonal cards had a significantly higher rolling rate along with a chance to acquire seasonals. For myself, I tend to roll in seasonal Super Godfest or Godfest that have extraordinarily strong rolling rates because I can acquire the Godfest exclusives, which are obviously either powerful or can be utilized as trade fodder. In the case of here, the odds are just not with us. So I, for one, am personally not going to roll in this Super Godfest. I'm going to take my free roll, hope it's something magical, probably won't be, Monster Exchange excess Pantheons for Rainbow Event medals, and simply call it a day. But this video would be kind of short if I just left off there, so in fact I'm going to lump together the Sophie buffs and new evolutions that have come live a couple of days ago. So, Sophie is a 7-star Godfest exclusive who has many different forms, and the nice thing about her is that you can swap between different evolutions, at least at this point in time, not lose the level 120, and they're already skilled up to begin with, so you don't have to worry about like skilling up, unevolving, losing the monster experience, having to re-limit break, etc. So, they have great flexibility. It's always nice to have a couple of Sophies around, but all the Sophie evolutions have now gained weapon assist forms, and this is where it's kind of like Manoa, where it's like, well, I like lots of Manoas because it's a little bit of a pain to swap between evolutions, and well, this is going to kind of be a similar idea because various gems needed to evolve can be a little bit tedious to acquire. So, for the most part, all of these weapon assists are going to follow a similar template where they have a skill boost, they have a killer of some kind, and they have some rows. The number of rows can vary between colors, and then the active skill is giving an attack buff for their respective color, a recovery and movement time buff, and all this is for 2 turns, and then a large shield for 2 turns. And this is going to apply to all the different colors with the exception of one of them. So purple gets a god killer, the Awoken Bind Clearing, or the Cleric style Sophie, the blue version, she's a little bit different with the active skill because it gives a 3 times attack buff for all allies and an attack and recovery buff, and then fully clears unmatchable Awoken Bind and regular bind statuses. So slightly different in terms of the active skill, but the awakenings are essentially the same. So remember, these weapon assists are giving you a skill boost, a killer of some kind, and rows along with a useful active skill, I'd say, for the most part. It can be nice if you want to like pad your damage, so to speak, for a given card in order to give them a killer awakening while tapping into rows. And then for the actual Sophies themselves, they have gained various buffs to their awakenings, and can be quite exciting. For the base Sophie, she is now able to function as a respectable, like rainbow-oriented card in a sense that she can have 2 5-attribute awakenings. All the Sophies do have a 5-attribute awakening, along with now gaining the chance to gain Skill Boost Plus. So for rainbow-based teams, these cards can work quite well. When you think about it, that's 8 times personal damage plus another 4.5, double TPA, not bad at all. And again, the active skill has been upgraded. For this active skill in her base form, you get an attack buff, a movement time, and RCV buff. You half damage with a single turn shield, and then all orbs appear enhanced for a single turn. This is great because you can overwrite all the negative orb problems that may or may not be occurring in these newer dungeons. And the buffs have also transferred over to the other forms. Now, their other forms, like their colored forms, will have double 10 combo and 4 killers. 4 killers are kind of awkward, I feel, for the most part, because even though they are 5 times personal damage against that respective spawn, it's only good against that respective spawn. If those 4 killers were just simply another 10 combo and literally anything else, it would be a much better card overall. But we always can dream that, the killers line up. Maybe you're facing a god and machine type, and then suddenly their personal damage multiplier is sky high through the roof. But remember, they're now double 10 combo with 4 killers, with this upgraded active skill, and their leader skill has been buffed a little bit, I believe, to be a little bit more durable, so as a 7x6 swap swap option, you may have a little bit more time to swap yourself into position. And remember, for rainbow-based teams, double 10 combo with a 5 attribute awakening is nothing to snuff at. If the killers line up, it's a significant amount of damage output. And the killers will vary from Sophie to Sophie, but just remember, their active skill now gives you all orbs being enhanced for a single turn, so you can overcome these negative orbs. And remember, like, they are respectable 7x6 leader swap options. If they are used for monocolor and the 5 attribute does no use, they can simply take skill boost plus. So now they are 4 skill boost cards for 7x6 swapping. Like, it does give you options, and it is nice that Sophies have a little bit more love. Their blue form is a respectable Awoken skill bind clearing card. It doesn't remove Unmatchable, unfortunately, but depending on the team you're playing through, it might have a little bit of value. And for the most part, all the Sophies kind of look identical because it's kind of the point. So Sophie is a card that I don't use too often, but there are times where I whip it out just because the killers stack up nicely because of 3 to 5 times damage against those respective spawns. So where I have used Sophie is, like, obviously for like 7x6 leader swapping for any respective team. Take the double skill boost. 4 skill boost for a 7x6 card with a useful active skill is still useful. Also, for dungeons that have like fixed leaders, which oftentimes means you can't hit very large amounts of damage, if the killers can line up wonderfully well, you can deal meaningful amounts of damage to that respective spawn, so that can give yourself a little bit of an edge. But if that being said, this Super Godfest for the most part is underwhelming, but the Sophie buffs are nice. They're not going to necessarily be used all the time, but if they have been kind of just languishing around your box and not being put to good use, this may be a good time to possibly start experimenting with them. Regardless of that, hopefully all you lovely ladies and gentlemen out there have a truly fantastic day. I don't encourage you to roll in the Super Godfest, and happy puzzling.